Let's get you a life raft. Some of y'all are walking around in relationships that are sucking the life out of you and you might not even realize it. It's like trying to breathe underwater and you're always exhausted, always on edge, always feeling like you're just not good enough. Are you tired of feeling like you're constantly walking on eggshells, carefully measuring every word, every action, just to avoid an explosion or a cold shoulder? Do you ever find yourself questioning your own sanity, your own memory, because of how someone else is making you feel day in and day out? Well, today, we're going to stop tiptoeing around the truth. We're going to drag these toxic dynamics out into the bright light of day, where we can see them for what they really are. In this video, I'm going to lay out for you, plain and simple, how to spot the warning signs, those sneaky red flags that tell you something seriously wrong. We're going to talk about the mind games, like gaslighting, that make you doubt yourself. And most importantly, we're going to get into what you can about it, how to set boundaries, find support, and start the journey of healing and reclaiming your own darn life. Because here's the bottom line. You deserve to be in relationships that lift you up, not tear you down. You deserve peace, respect, and happiness. By the end of this, you're going to have a clearer picture, a stronger voice, and some real practical tools to start making some changes. So, are you ready to get real about what you're dealing with and start fighting for the life you deserve? Let's get to it. Alright, let's talk about red flags. Now, these ain't always big neon signs flashing danger. Sometimes they're subtle. They're little comments, small actions, patterns of behavior that, on their own, you might brush off. You might think, oh, they're just having a bad day, or that's just how they are. But let me tell you, when these little things start adding up, when they become a consistent part of how someone treats you, that's when you gotta wake up and smell the coffee. These are indicators that the dynamic you're in isn't healthy, and it's likely doing you more harm than good. Ignoring them is like ignoring a leaky faucet. Eventually, you're gonna have a flood. One of the biggest red flags, and one that's often hard to pin down, is manipulation. This is when someone tries to control your thoughts, your feelings, or your actions for their own benefit, often in ways that are dishonest or underhanded. They might use guilt trips, play the victim, or twist your words around to make you feel like you're the one at fault. You end up feeling confused, obligated, or like you owe them something, even when your gut is screaming that something ain't right. It's a power play, pure and simple, designed to keep you off balance and under their thumb. Then, there's constant criticism. I'm not talking about constructive feedback here. I'm talking about that drip, drip, drip of negativity. The person who always finds something wrong with what you do, what you say, how you look, or even who you are. They pick you apart little by little until your self-esteem is in shreds. They might disguise it as just being honest or trying to help you, but the real message is clear. You're not good enough. This isn't about your improvement. It's about their need to feel superior by putting you down. It's a soul-crushing behavior that can leave you feeling worthless. Let's drill down on one of the most insidious forms of manipulation, gaslighting. Gaslighting makes you doubt your own perceptions, memory, and sanity. It's designed to give the gaslighter power and control over you. They deny things they said or did, even if you have proof. They twist events to make you seem forgetful or irrational. The goal is to make you second-guess everything. It's psychological warfare, targeting your reality. Gaslighting is a calculated tactic, not accidental. Chapter 3. Drawing the line. The undeniable power of setting healthy boundaries. Alright, now we come to a real cornerstone of healthy relationships and, frankly, a healthy life: boundaries. If you don't have them, or if they're weak and flimsy, you're gonna find yourself getting run over, taken advantage of, and feeling resentful more often than not. Plain and simple, you teach people how to treat you by what you're willing to tolerate. And if you tolerate disrespect, intrusion, or being treated like a doormat, well, guess what? That's exactly what you're gonna get. Setting boundaries is about saying, this is me, this is my space, and this is how I expect to be treated. So, what exactly are personal boundaries? Think of them like a fence around your property. That fence defines what's yours and what's not, where your responsibility ends and someone else's begins. Boundaries can be physical, like how close someone stands to you or whether they can touch you. They can be emotional, protecting your feelings, not taking on someone else's emotional baggage. They can be mental, your thoughts, beliefs, and opinions. They can even be about your time and energy, saying no to requests that would drain you or overextend you. They are the limits you set to protect your well-being. Now, a lot of folks struggle with setting boundaries. Why is that? Well, for some, it's a fear of conflict. They don't want to upset anyone, rock the boat, or seem mean. For others, it's guilt. They feel like they always be available, always say yes, especially to people they care about. And some folks were never taught how to set boundaries. Maybe they grew up in a family where boundaries were non-existent or constantly violated. But whatever the reason, not having clear boundaries is a recipe for getting hurt and feeling powerless. Let's take a real-world example. Chapter 4. You're not alone. the life-saving importance of a support system. Now listen up, because this is crucial. Some of y'all out there, especially in a toxic mess, think you have to go it alone. You think you gotta be strong and handle everything by yourself. Let me tell you something. That is a dangerous misconception. Navigating a toxic relationship without support is like climbing Mount Everest in swim trunks. It's a recipe for disaster, leaving you isolated and overwhelmed. The truth is, we all need support. Human beings are wired for connection. When dealing with someone draining your energy, you need your own team. You need people who can offer perspective, remind you of your worth, and listen without judgment. Carrying that burden alone is too much for anyone. It's not a sign of weakness to ask for help, it's a sign of wisdom. So who can be part of this support system? Trusted friends who've known you for years and have your back, family members who genuinely care about your well-being, and don't discount the value of professional support. A good therapist, counselor, or coach can provide tools, insights, and strategies. They're trained to help you unpack complexities and guide you toward healing. Think about it like this. Being in a toxic relationship is like being stranded on a deserted island. The toxic person tells you there's no rescue coming and you're lucky to have them. Chapter 5. Picking up the pieces, the non-negotiable journey of self-care and healing. Alright, we've talked about spotting the problems, understanding the mind games, setting boundaries, and finding support. But what happens after? What about the toll these toxic encounters take on you? Getting out of a toxic relationship, or even just actively managing one while you're still in it, is exhausting. It's like running a marathon you didn't sign up for uphill in the mud with someone throwing rocks at you. You're gonna be bruised, battered, and emotionally drained. That's where self-care and healing come in. And let me be crystal clear. These are not luxuries, they are absolute necessities. I hear that term self-care thrown around a lot, and sometimes people think it's just about bubble baths and spa days. Now those things can be nice, don't get me wrong, but true self-care goes so much deeper than that. It's about actively and intentionally doing things that nurture your mind, your body, and your spirit. It's about refilling your own cup, especially when a toxic relationship has drained it dry. It's about recognizing that your well-being matters, and that you have a responsibility to take care of yourself, first and foremost. Because if you're running on empty, you've got nothing left to give anyone, least of all yourself. Self-care isn't selfish. It's an act of self-preservation. It's about saying, I matter. My needs matter. My health matters. In a toxic relationship, your needs were probably ignored, dismissed, or even ridiculed. You might have gotten so used to putting someone else's needs first, or walking on eggshells to avoid their displeasure, that you've completely forgotten how to tune into your own. Self-care is the process of rediscovering what nourishes you, what brings you peace, and what helps you feel whole again. Chapter 6. Your life, your rules. Stepping into a brighter future. Whew, we've covered a whole lot of ground today, haven't we? We talked about how to spot those sneaky red flags that signal a toxic situation. We unmasked that crazy-making mind game called gaslighting and how to protect your reality. We dug into the absolute power and necessity of setting firm, healthy boundaries. We underscored why you simply cannot go it alone and the life-saving importance of building a strong support system. And finally, we talked about picking up the pieces through dedicated self-care and the ongoing journey of healing. These are the pillars, folks, for reclaiming your life from toxic influences. Now, I've done a lot of talking, but this is where you come in. This ain't just about listening, it's about. What's one thing from today's discussion that really hit home for you? What's one small step you're gonna commit to taking this week to move toward healthier relationships and a healthier you? I genuinely want to hear from you, so drop a comment below. Let's support each other. And if you found this video helpful, if it gave you some clarity or a little bit of hope, do me a favor. Give it a thumbs up, share it with someone you know who might be struggling, and be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. We've got a lot more real talk and practical strategies coming your way. Listen to me carefully. You are not defined by the toxic people who may have crossed your path or the unhealthy relationships you've endured. Not one bit. You are defined by your courage to face the truth, by your resilience in the face of adversity, and by your unwavering commitment to create a life filled with respect, joy, and genuine connection. You have the power within you to heal, to grow, and to build the future you truly deserve. Don't you ever let anyone, especially yourself, tell you otherwise. Get real, get strong, and go make it happen. You've got this.